Hello YouTube! My name is Chihiro, and Ore no Daidakoro e yokoso! Today we'll be making the Wafu Hambagu, which is a Japanese take on the Salisbury steak. With a hint of sake flavor, we'll be topping it off with our homemade sauce, daikon, and shiso leaf, making this filling but a surprisingly refreshing meal. There are several chains in Japan that specializes in this dish, but I don't live there anymore. Now I live in New York City. That's just a poster in my living room, but I really do live here. What this means for us is that I will only be using ingredients that are easily sourced. You can get them at your local Asian grocery. I've seen increasing amounts sold in local stores as well. Anyway, Alright, now let's start out by making these 4 patties. Cut the onion in half. Oh, I really need to sharpen my knife. Cut along the lines all the way through vertically, but not horizontally. Then it should end up looking like this. Now cut the other way all the way through. And now you'll get nice little cubes. Now do the same for the other half. Heat up the pan to low-medium heat and put a little bit of oil. Now put the onions into the pan and stir until it's lightly brown. This should be good enough, but it's super important not to mix it with the meat yet. The heat will cause the meat to start cooking, and we definitely don't want that. So we will use a little fan to cool it down while we gather the other ingredients. We will be using 500 grams of ground beef, or about 1.1 pounds in freedom units. Put in 7 grams of salt, 5 grams of nutmeg, 50 grams of breadcrumbs, aka panko, 1.5 tablespoons of sake, 3/4 tablespoon of soy sauce, and 50 milliliters of milk. Now get 2 nicely shaped eggs, then crack them open into the bowl. Finally, put in the now cooled onions, and we are all set. Ready for mixture. This part can get quite messy, so you can put on some protection. でも俺ゴム嫌いだから生で入る. Be nice and gentle at first, then gradually pick up the pace, making sure everything is nice and even. Hold it down if you must. Try some creative positions, you know, just have some fun with it, yeah? Once it looks all even, take the amount of meat you want to make 1 patty, then create a little ball, then toss it around to make the patty shape. Toss it back and forth, back and forth. Little chunks may fly everywhere, but it's okay, we'll clean up later. Just pound that meat, just pound it. Would you look at that? We made a beautiful meat baby. Now go for rounds 2, 3, and 4 to create the rest of the patties. But before we cook them, we need to cool it down in the fridge to make them less likely to break apart. Meanwhile, let's make the sauce. Once the pan is set on low heat, put in 1 tablespoon each of sugar, sake, mirin, and soy sauce. 3 tablespoons of ponzu soy sauce, and 10 grams of butter. Stir in low heat until everything is nice and even. Once it looks kinda like this, put it away and let's get ready to cook the meat. Set the pan to medium heat and add a little bit of cooking oil. I'll just be cooking 1 patty because I'm forever alone. Get off! Cook one side until you can see a little browning on the edges. Then flip it over and do the same for the other side. Looks good to me. Now pour some sake over the meat, then let it simmer in low heat for 10 minutes. Let's prepare the plate while we wait. Slice some onions and lay it on the plate. Make it nice and cozy for your meat. I just boiled some random veggies, but you can put whatever you want. Now grate roughly 1 large spoonful of daikon. Get the shiso leaf, and now we're ready for the meat. Ooh, I think it got bigger. Admire your meat for a sec, then place it gently on the plate. Place the shiso leaf on top of the meat, then the daikon, making it as fluffy as you can. Finally, pour the sauce. 完成したぞ! Oishii, sappari, juicy. You know, I had this whole thing prepared more about this dish, but it's my first video, so I thought maybe I should do like a quick intro instead. First thing first, I am not a professional, nor have I trained under some wise old Japanese man. My cooking journey actually started pretty recently. Growing up in a Japanese household based in Boston, my mother would always cook these amazing Japanese meals. But as a grown man, I was that guy that always ate out, got deliveries. The only cooking that I ever did was just pressing buttons on the microwave. It only got worse once I moved to Japan for work, where I had this very busy lifestyle. So much so that I gained tons of weight and spiraled right into depression. As I was entering my mid-30s, I knew something had to change. So I started out by controlling what goes into my body. So I started to learn how to cook some of my favorite Japanese dishes, always keeping simplicity in mind. I even started my own ramen shop in Tokyo during COVID. Terrible, terrible timing. But my skills improved drastically and my passion for cooking just kept on growing. As a result, I'm in the best shape of my life both physically and mentally, living my best life. I'd love to share some of these recipes with you, as well as new ones that I'm constantly tinkering with. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Now I'm going to finish my meal, so I hope to see you next time. Bye.